I've got one blood and that's it. But my daughter, whose father is sitting next to me, she acknowledges the father and the other heritage that she has. She doesn't just say that she's a black fella.
Oh,
and that has to happen here in Australia, so we can all then, be honest and equal with each other and understanding, because it creates that division, it creates a division.
To an extent, it may not be predicated on skin tone, but I guarantee you that nothing happens to him until he lets someone know that he is of Aboriginal status. Until he discloses that information, then that's probably when it starts. It's just like a white passing mixed person in society here. They can pass as white, therefore they will get the social standing of whiteness until they make it known that they are mixed and they have a black person in their family. So to an extent, what he's saying is true because we know how it works in racist societies, but he's also being very deceptive because he's leaving out the part to where he has to make it known to society that he is an Aboriginal, basically, in order for his skin tone to not matter and to them to treat him the way they would treat an Aboriginal. So I see what he's doing.
Well, even in his story, right, he said he was the albino in his family and that it happened to his family, indicating his family who this happened to looked different than him. So he's not stupid. He knows they weren't spitting on them because they were walking around looking like him. If he was the albino in the bench. It's very disingenuous. It does not honor the black blood in them for them to pretend like there is no difference. And we need to be clear on this, or we're going to suffer the same fate as the Aboriginals, which is, trust me, that 30,000 that are left, they're going to dwindle every year until there are none left.
Yeah, and then it won't matter. And then I guarantee you that there won't be an issue. They're not going to be sitting up having discussions about who gets to claim Aborigine because they'll all be white and they'll all get the benefits of whiteness. So that's literally, that is where we're heading to. And that's the narrative that people here within the community engage in.
You have my blood too. I want you to be just as proud of me. I also want you to be proud of your other white grandfather and your other grandmother who was not Aboriginal. You are not just Aboriginal, but be really proud of that heritage. Now,
it's a superiority thing for a woman of no color to feel like she can give birth to black children. Understand that. But here we go.
Who call themselves Indigenous have children with people who aren't. 80% of their kids identify fully as Indigenous. What about the rest of us? They're our families too. You are either Aboriginal.
How do you have a white Aboriginal? And see, often,
You don't. That's not a thing.
Yeah, because it's just like what black people try to pull in this country. Oh, there are, because I even said there are no white black people, and then we'll look there. Yes, there are. There's white, but no, there is no white black people. There is none. That's an oxymoron. To even sit there and for her to say a white Aborigine, that is an oxymoron. I liken this discussion where they say, oh, color doesn't matter. I liken this discussion to this whole transgender situation where they're basically saying biology doesn't matter, your feelings matter. The only difference is they have a tiny bit of the biology of it, but not enough to really substantiate it. And they're bringing this argument of, well, my phenotype really shouldn't matter. The fact that I'm mostly white shouldn't matter because I feel like identifying as Aboriginal because I want to get these Aboriginal benefits. And you guys shouldn't care about that at all.
The breeding programs where they intentionally tried to reach the fourth admixture because thereafter they would have a white person. And what these people don't understand, and I think what mixed people have to understand, is the idea of breeding out blackness, that they are actually continuing the work of those colonizers, because if you as people who present as white or present as non-black or present as racially ambiguous insist on being called black, then you whiten blackness.
Right.
Which is exactly what they were trying to accomplish in Australia.
Yeah, but they don't care though. That's the thing. And it's because what they don't understand is that These people have the psychology of their whiteness. They are carrying around their white psychology as well. So they're not going to be empathetic. Like the plight of these actual real Aboriginals is falling on deaf ears. They don't care. They want the benefit of it because they see a benefit of it. Because if he definitely talked about the uptick in people claiming Aboriginal status, then clearly that is 100% linked to the financial and program benefits that come with that. So that's all that they want, is to siphon out benefits that should be going to the Aboriginals, but they're not. They're going to these so-called white Aboriginals because they're now the majority and they get to claim that status. That's just how, and that will be how it will be over here, because unfortunately we really don't learn from anything. And you'll have Black people still running around and saying they're creating Black people, like trying to say Meghan Markle is Black when she's not, and she already said she's not Black. But this is how our psychology is built up, and it's the same. This is a global pathology going on. There's a such thing as a natural consequence, and it's unfortunate for the real Aborigines because theirs actually was forced and systemically imposed on them.
The Eve gene is not something that exists in Black people in the sub-Saharan Africas. That we cannot be diverse. That's true, but that's not the norm. And it's important that we have respect for what Blackness is, or Blackness becomes nothing.